Sox Nation, it's a kind of a family. Wherever I roam, up and way home, that's where I long to be. I'm a member of a Red Sox Nation, it's a kind of insanity. Yeah, I live and die with Red Sox pride for eternity. I fake a smile November until opening day. Suffering baseball withdrawal around the clock. When April comes, hey, meet me down on Yankee Way. That's when Red Sox Nation starts to rock. I'm a member of the Red Sox Nation.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 58 of the Avid Boston Podcast, presented by AVIDBOSTON.com. For those of you staying up late with us on Periscope, as always, the podcast can be found on SoundCloud within 30 minutes of the conclusion of this broadcast. It will also be available on iTunes by your AM commute. You can also find us on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, YouTube, and probably a couple other I forgot to mention. You could just Google Avid Boston Podcast. Player FM is another one. That one pulls them all together on one app from all kinds of other apps, so that one's super convenient if you've never used it. Red Sox made history tonight. First ever season sweep of another franchise. I think we went 7-0 this season against the Anaheim Angels, or maybe it was 6-0. They didn't get a win one way or the other. Here to discuss that with us, as always, my co-host, Dave Kwiatkowski. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just, 6-0 against the Angels this year. I want to play them every day.
Yeah, they're my second favorite team now.
Seriously, they're up there. I mean, we had, like you said, first time ever that we've swept a season series against a ball club, so we went 6-0. Tuesday, the bats continued to match, and we got great pitching again as we won 9-1. Pretty uneventful game outside of, scoring 9. In game 2, another 9 spot on the board. Got a little dicey there. Kelly had probably his third bad start of the year coming out of the pen, but we rallied back, getting 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th, and Kimbrel shut the door after getting what felt like a month off as we went 9-6. And then tonight, we won 4-2 as we had some solid starting pitching from Brian Johnson, quick 4 innings. And then we moved through the bullpen. Kelly, a little shaky again, some bad luck, but Cora went back to him, and Kimbrel hammers down the save, and we swept the Angels.
Yeah, and I always say that the 3 worst franchises in Major League Baseball are the Marlins, the Mets, and the Angels. And 2 of those teams started the year with a lot of promise, and one of those was the Angels, but they've just completely reverted back to their form the last, several years. So, I mean, they're just in full suck mode right now.
They always are, and it's a good point you bring that up, and some people might be listening and be like, the Angels? I mean, when John Lackey was there, and they made the playoffs a lot, Mike Trout's in the team, but if you actually take a step back and look at the Angels throughout the years, they are one of those teams that have so much talent but continuously suck year after year after year, and either finish 500 like they've been, or around 500 like they've been the past few years, or make the playoffs and do absolutely nothing there.
Yeah, and I mean, they never seem to be able to build a farm system. As soon as they have some young prospects ready to go, they trade for like Ian Kinsler or Zach Cosart, and they just don't seem to get anywhere. Like, their franchise is just completely dysfunctional all the way through.
It just doesn't make sense, and they just love to do what bad teams do and bring in veterans on huge contracts for some reason and try and get them to relive their glory days, I guess.
Right. What was the worst contract for them? What was the worst contract? The Angels signing Hamilton or the Red Sox signing Sandoval?
Hamilton all day long.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's just such a bad contract. And Hamilton was, I mean, the dude got addicted to, he got addicted to chewing sunflower seeds. The dude was just a wreck from the start to finish. And I don't know, the Pablo Sandoval contract was really bad in Boston, but technically there was injuries involved and it never panned out. And, you know, he's doing actually okay out there in San Francisco now, which kind of like stinks for Red Sox fans because why couldn't you bat 270, 280 here and play a bunch of different positions? For people that haven't kept up with him, he's played third, he's played second, he even pitched a perfect inning where
he did
a single hit. So the guy's doing everything out there. He's batting 270, you know, just having a fun time. But the Hamilton contract is awful.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, I rooted for Hamilton. I mean, everybody loves a good comeback story, but it just didn't happen, and it was kind of a reckless deal for them to sign. And I think the Pujols contract is starting to finally get stale as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it got stale a couple of years ago, but I mean, he's making $30 million until 2021, so they got some more time with him, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're happy Hamlin's gone. You know, how bad could they wish that they could get out of that contract?
Oh man, they would love to, but at the same time, they probably don't even care. Like that's the Angels though. Like they'll take his 38-year-old veteran leadership, you know, just to help out and be like, you know what? Yeah, he hits 20, 30, 40 home runs a year, and that's what he does. I mean, last year was 20, the year before that 30, the year before that 40. But it's the batting average. It's the OBP. He just literally hits a home run or hits a single. That's it.
Right. Getting back to the Red Sox side of the series, the bottom part of the order was pretty good, especially Jackie Bradley.
That's my guy. along with Rafael Devers.
Well, I like Devers. I'll share that with you.
No, you do like Devers.
I just was pretty worried there for, you know, a couple weeks stretch there about a month or so ago. But Bradley is kind of coming around, and tonight, unlike some of those other nights, he actually hit a key home run in a big moment because we only had a 1-run lead at the time, and he hit, what was it, a 2-run shot? Or was it
a 2-run shot? It was a missile too. It was like out over 100 miles an hour. That was ropes.
Yeah, I don't think that ball ever went much more than, I don't know, 25 feet in the air. It was, you know, a line drive basically.
Yeah, that thing was a missile. It's great to see. Like you said, he's doing it, you know, not down 10-0 or up 10-0. He's doing it in key moments, and he's just doing it consistently the past, you know, week or two.
Yeah, and I don't know. I would trade him with his value up. I would, because I mean, I just feel like it's inevitable. He's gonna go on a painful cold streak, and it may or may not cost us games. I don't know. I feel like we need to make upgrades somewhere, and I guess we'll just talk about, you know, Brandon Phillips right now because he could be a potential upgrade. I like Nunez to me is
Jackie Bradley.
Yeah, exactly. We're flip flopped on that. I'm okay with Nunez.
Oh, he's so useless.
Well, he had a good series too. I think he hit a home run, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He hit a solo shot. It was actually a bomb.
Yeah,
he had a good series. That's what's frustrating about him. You know, and the difference between him and JBJ is he hurts you so much in the field where JBJ saves your ass in the field. Nunez is so bad out there defensively that I could do a better job right now.
Yeah, actually, I got Chris coming in.
Perfect. Chris Saunders, everybody.
And the thing, though, about getting rid of Bradley is at least, you know, Benintendi would be over in center for the most part. So it's not like we're losing a ton of defense. And he did have a highlight reel play with an inning or two to go tonight.
Yeah, he made a really good play and kept the game, you know, pretty much either ahead or before we would have been tied. It's a huge play, but you just saw what JBJ did tonight alone, and it outdid what Benny did. And he's just so good defensively, and you've seen that he can get hot, and you see that he does well. And I'm hoping that the cold streak was behind him because the cold streak's been this entire year pretty much. So I'm just hoping that maybe he's starting to turn it around at this point.
Well,
I don't know. He's so
ahead.
young. He's just so young still that you know you can get out of it. All I want to do is bat 250. Like, that's all I want is 250.
Oh, that would be wonderful, but
I would be with that.
There was a stat recently, I don't have it up, but most of his damage is done in June and July, and then I think he's a sub 200 hitter all the other months over the course of his career. He was pretty consistent in 2016 most of the way through, but for the most part, I mean, he's at his, he's reached the time of the year where he does get hot. If this is September and he's raking, then I'm quieting down about it, but I don't know. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Like we were saying before we come on, there's really no urgency so far on the part of the Red Sox front office, at least in terms of making an impact move.
No, and there's so many other positions that, well, there's 3 more positions ahead of center field that would be catching, second base, and bullpen in no specific order.
Right. And I think, if Leon got an extra start or two, each trip through the rotation, that could.
Listen, I'm all for that. I want Sandy to be the everyday catcher, 3 starts a week. I'm okay with sitting Vasquez for a little bit, and if we're not going to trade Swihart, I would give him some starts behind the plate.
Yeah, and Vasquez, terrible base running tonight.
That was brutal. I mean, he's done that a few times this year too. Like, dude, just take your single. Like, you're not lightning quick out there.
Yeah.
Like, at least quick, you can see him getting there. But I mean, Vasquez and Sandy, they're not out there for their speed.
I mean, we're coming up on July now, so I mean these botched slides and just errors on the base pass, shouldn't be happening.
No, not at all.
At this point.
Could that be a really bad contract for the Red Sox? Not obviously like Hanley or Pablo, where it's so much money, but Vasquez is old 2.8, then 4.2, then 6.2 at 2021, and then it's a club option for $7 million in 2022. That can get kind of ugly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like huge money, but it's annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, next year 2.8, nothing, but 2020 at 4.2. I mean, to put it into perspective, who do we pay $4 million? Nunez, I'm bitching about that because he just hasn't. I mean, yeah, you know me, but I am because $4 million he's not worth $4 million. He's playing less than that. E-Rob makes $2.3 million over that. Joe Kelly makes 3.8 over that. I mean, it's just it could get a little annoying. It's just one of those things where he could be blocking a Swihart, possibly.
Right.
We don't even know if we're going to keep him, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it all adds up. Also joining us, he was MIA for a little bit. You can find him on Twitter at @smoke_Saunders. He does play-by-play for the Northeast Sports Network. Did I get that right, Chris? I don't have it.
Yeah, you did.
down.
You got it.
Okay, and that's for the Blues. What's the full name for them? Or
They're the Bristol Blues to the FCBL.
Yes, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
And you also do play-by-play for one other network.
I do play-by-play for both. The Northeast Sports Network, that's a company. They do collegiate, every sport, soccer, baseball, football, you name it. And the Bristol Blues are the Future Collegiate Baseball League. And this is my first year with them, but I've been working with FCBL for the last, 2018, 7 years.
Okay. Very good. So that's where people can also track you down.
Correct.
All right. So did you, I know you're kind of an outsider to the Sox, but did you kind of have one eye on the Angels series?
A little bit, but to be honest with you, I mean, the Angels right now are, I mean, their rotation is as bad as Baltimore. And it's like every guy that they throw out there, I mean, prime example, John Lamb. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
He was a top prospect for the Royals. He was in the trade with Cueto. Him, Finnegan, Cody Reed. And it's just like every guy that they throw out there is a laughing stock. And with Ohtani being out, which I think is another prime example of a guy that, like, just shut him down. He's never going to pitch again. And you're going to have him hit? Come
now
on.
he's going to back and hit. Like, that's smart.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say, if you didn't see